Yeah, so I was excited to have a third round of that first draft because I thought that deck would have executed really nicely. But instead, we're going to fire off another one. Let me double check before it starts and see if I can get my document from the PT up describing some of the early pick orders. Again, usually like past the first pick or so, there's not a lot of, or the first pick even. It's really just too tied to what rare you open to really make a lot of these close decisions not change a ton. Okay, open and ready to check if we have another type pick like Slash versus Supplant. I do think Slash is actually better. The more just the tempo swing of like, and everyone who drafted Onslaught should remember this, which was 10 years ago. So all like you know 10% of the people watching this, 15% at most. Just the tempo swing of Morph into Morph Wild Slash is almost unbeatable. But here we have one of my favorite cards to play with, Mob Rule. Uh, Chris Fennell was trying to argue that this card was not that good, or not as good as people thought it was, or I don't know. I basically just told him that I hope he didn't learn his lesson about it at the Pro Tour, which he didn't. But it is basically unbeatable. I think I would take it over actually anything, Pyrotechnics and Elite Scale Guard included, and this pack does not have anything remotely close to the same power level. Next best card in the pack, there's a bunch of black cards that are probably going to get picked up. That's a good metric. Just kind of see how many of these four black cards wheel, plus this, plus the contest. See, there's like 3 blue cards. Yeah, just remember the count is 6 relevant black cards, and however many wheel is probably how many black drafters there are at the table. So we're going to try to pair. What? Okay, well, someone took a foil rare. I'm going to take this card. It is. So usually you'd say something like, "Oh, I want to pair my red with white or with blue," and this isn't really a scenario you think about when you're practicing for premier event level drafts because they remove foils from the pack and replace them with a random with a random common. However, this card's just like okay. So let's talk about this. So 5 mana, 5 power flyer. Okay, that's already above the curve, and then it just prevents your opponent from ever having a real board presence. And also, the Magic Online interface for it is not the best, and they might just sack their whole board. So I don't think this pick is remotely close. I should play around this card because it's very good, and I should remember I passed it. But that's about it. I don't think this pick's remotely close. We had this as the best common in the set. It just kills things efficiently. It's really simple. It's just a 3 mana kill a thing. Uh, yeah, the 5 toughness barrier has become a lot less relevant with the new set. Outcast is also okay, but I don't want to move into full 3 color. As a like, this card's just even better than Outcast, and it lines up with one of my rares. There's a rare and an uncommon missing, so there's not even any signals. Yeah, it worked the first time. I'm guessing white. I don't know if blue or red is more open. It looks like there's a well, this pack could just be whatever, but there's a common missing over the bathe, which has me thinking it's a surveyor. It could also be a heel cutter if people are crazy, or a reach, or another foil. I don't know, I'm just gonna take the bathe and see what happens from here. Man, they're not even matching. How unlucky. So this card's actually pretty good. Uh, if you play a 2 drop into this, you just kind of win the game. But I'm not too excited to move into green here. This pack is just kind of a bunch of bad cards. I really hate green red aggro. I had a very mediocre experience with it in the GP top 8, like to stay or top 4. I think that's like going to be a pretty consistent experience because I don't know. I'm trying to think of why that's true. It just feels like it's not the best at breaking through. I kind of just want to take the land because if we end up like Mardu, the lands are really important. It's actually uh, the lands are inversely important to how aggressive your color combination is. Well, the soul summons here is the obvious pick. 2-drops are very important in aggressive decks, which is very important in the format in general. This is one of the best ones because it triggers heroic and gives you a blowout potential. Like if you just hit, and it's also in the color combo like white red or white black with soul summons that actually needs the 2-drop the most. Archfiend might just be a sideboard hangout kind of card. I'm just gonna take Construct. It's just huge. You can curve out with Manifest or Morphs into it. None of these other cards are super exciting. Green looks a little open, so maybe I should try and move into green-black. But I think the Construct's just like the highest reward card in the pack. I think I just want to take the lane and rely on cards from the next packs. Green is open, black looks open, white's probably not that open. I'm probably going to be... Could also take the Goreswine. Just kind of want to take the land here. Goreswine's okay. I think I'd rather have the Goreswine than the Emissary. Is that true? I think so. Okay, red-white it is. Wow, why did that card wheel? This card is just the biggest. It's just absurd. You just curve out into it and you win the game. I think the Lava Axe has more potential. Archfiend actually might just be in the deck. It might just be full on 3 colors today. With this kind of mana. Yeah, just the way this card affects the early game is just so absurd. So unlike the rune marks, you actually can get a card out of it immediately a lot of the time, because people are often incentivized to trade morphs early. You just attack and they block. Take the host. The card's actually like a sideboard card that could be playable. Maybe I think white is open just based on seeing this so late. I actually like this card. It's a reasonable amount. I don't know why that card's still in the pack. It's like very playable. Yeah, that's like a. The way we described Gurmag Angler was every deck wants like one Delve card because it's kind of a free roll, and this is one of the better ones, but still at the replaceable level. This card is sweet. I think I'm going to take the 2-drop though. Over the land. Just need to fill out my curve here. Anyways, back to ranting. This card's not very good. I don't want to play it. Back to ranting about this card. There's just so many blowout scenarios where you can just make these attacks early where your opponent is incentivized to block. You cast it. You've already regained your investment of a card in it by killing their creature with it that's blocking. And then, like, their next turn doesn't get any better. Like, on the play, like, that's how I won a match at the Pro Tour, was just literally morph, they play a morph, I attack, I play this card. And then their turn 4, like, there just isn't a follow-up that blocks a 4/4. There isn't removal to block the 4/4. And it's just so huge. And the life gain swing, just like every part of that card is just... It creates absurd blowouts. Note to self, through Spell Snatcher. The card's very good. I'm going to take the 2-drop over the Pony. I think that the 2-drop's more important to what my deck's trying to do. It's also like the best 2-drop, right? I'm going to take the land over the mediocre 2-drops. These aren't super exciting. Horde Chief is an easy take here. I don't think this is really an Ugin's Construct deck anymore. I already have a Delve card, so I'm not too happy. Like, Scavenger's a little better than Angler, actually, I think. But I think that the 2/5 is actually a reasonable playable, and the Act of Treason is just like a sideboard card. This is just like a very weird Mardu deck. I don't really know what to think about it at this point. Other than that, zombie fish are awesome. 2-drop or Hate Blade. I think this pick's actually really close. I like the Hate Blade. That's just a card that's really powerful if you are ever incentivized to use it. This card's good, but it's just I think the Hate Blade is more flexible, and this deck is a 3-color deck that might need to be more flexible. I'm ignoring the Trumpet Blast because that's not what my deck's doing at this point. Potential playable. It's also possible I just cut the bad, or like just all the black cards. I don't. I kind of want to pick the Erase over the Banner and the 2/8. I already have the 2/6, and I don't like Erase is always nice if they have like a Citadel Siege or whatever. Kind of want Bitter Rev with my double bomb rare. 2/5 is kind of replaceable. It's good though. 2/5 is quite good actually. I think the Rev is probably the less replaceable effect though. Just any random creature with power and toughness can replace the 2/5. Solid sideboard card. Green blue is pretty open. Yeah, this Ugin's Construct looks real bad in my deck. I don't really want to be Valley Dashing. And take the Krumar. Swift Kick's boardable. I don't really want to be splashing green. My mana's already stretched enough. You can like Swift Kick down walls against the wall deck, so. Especially with this guy. I guess I'm kind of shaping up to be white-black splash red. Though the splash for mob rule is kind of cool for the double red. That might not happen. We'll see. I do need to pick up some more lands. Like ideally with this mana, I think I want 5. I think the Banner could easily make the cut in this deck, so I'm going to take that over 2/8. Again, I have 2/6, which is very similar. I did pass a Woolly Locks it on as like a 2/8 is better against, but 10 creatures? Potentially a Summit Prowler that I'd rather not play because of the mana requirements. I forgot to double check my my indicator at the end of the last pack about how many black cards wheeled. I'm gonna take the white-red land over all this garbage. Even yeah, there's a Sage Eye Harrier as the next best card, but I want the land. I have all sorts of marginal playables in the board that can fill in slots if I need spells. I just have like some powerful cards that need to be cast. Does not look like a Grave Strength deck. This looks like a deck that could use a Right or a Throttle as like +1 removal spell, even a Kill Shot. I think Haru Specs is just too good to pass here, even though Burn Away is really good. We passed 2 Swarms I didn't wield, that's kind of awkward. Haru Specs is just so good. I really want the Burn Away, but I think it's a replaceable effect. I don't think this is necessarily a Skull Hunter deck. I'd rather just have perfect mana. Like, I already have a Skull Hunter, but I don't really need a ton of that effect or card. I think I'd rather have Injury than Right here. And also not a War Shrieker deck. This deck is really weird. These are the cards that could see play. I'm really hoping not to play the Summon Prowler. We're lightest on red. Two five for sure. I don't think this pick's remotely close. Already have my Delve card. This is the mediocre one. Already have a banner that I'm going to be playing. Ripper is like the dream card for this deck to kill larger creatures that bathe or debilitating don't hit. Could really use a kill shot. This is like this weird half control white black thing. I don't really know about it. I have a feeling this might be a first round exit kind of deck, but you never know. I'll have to look back at where this deck went wrong. I'll take another injury. I think that's better than the 0-4. "13 creatures. Can't ever beat a Tower Shell." Yeah, injury just has to be better. Oh, another Ripper? That's lucky. We're going to be doing a lot of Death Touch beatdown with this deck. I think I want the Bondkin over the Harrier. I have a bunch of ways to kill random flyers like the Bays and the injuries, but I need creatures that are actually capable of killing my opponent. O4 is also capable of doing that. Corresponds probably not what I want. I'm still going to splash Mob Rule, I think. I have 4 free sort. That card is just so good. This is a card that's been going up in value. Just the creature sizing is going down, so the 4 toughness matters more. And just like as a reasonable blocker, it's good. This interaction has come up before. It's less likely to come up in this deck because the other creatures are so small, but I do like how good that other Skull Hunter would have been pretty reasonable in this deck, actually. I'll take the return. Could use that kind of effect over the generic Dredge or Delve card. Yeah, like the other Skull Hunter would have been nice in the sense that I would be able to curve into it a bunch, but at the time I didn't have either Ripper, so or the 05 or 04. Okay. Do I have to cut one card here? I think I want to cut a card. I have expensive cards. My mana's not absurdly good. Bitter Rev is so good in this deck. I'm so glad I took that card there. I'm not sold about the Haru specs over the it's probably good enough over the Burn Away, but it's probably just the Krumar. I really like Honor's Reward, so I think I'm just going to keep that card in. I think the Light Gain's also going to be important to this deck, but this card's going to get boarded in a lot. Seems fine. I don't really see what else I would want. Yeah, it's a lot of lands, but not the worst. So I have no multicolored cards. 7, 4, 13. That's such a weird mana count. And I have 4, 5, 4, 4. Well, I only need 4 swamps, but I probably want 5. Get 13 lands, and I need 4 plains at least. Three mountains is 7 total sources, which is probably enough. 5. So I have 9 black sources early. 4. So I'm just going to add another plains. Gives me 8 white sources to start. Or it's 8. Oh. So that gives me 8 white producing lands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9 black producing lands. And 7 red sources for the mob rule, which sounds fine. I've played double color cards like that off 7 before. So the mana worked out pretty well in this deck for being a 3-color pile. Kind of wish I had a Bloodfire Mentor to splash off this monastery. Or more accurately, like I need another land and a mentor, but that'd be the perfect. But we'll see. This deck's weird. It feels like these old format black-red decks with like crappy creatures and a bunch of acceptable removal that used to be like this weird archetype that was always in every format like 8 or 9 years ago that people would just draft and was always okay. So we'll see. The Angler is probably really good here over a Scavenger. I think the 5/5 body is actually going to matter.